everybody joining us. This is Patrick Tarleton. I'm the Executive Director of the Texas Deer Association. I am here with Mike Russin, who is the Managing Partner, CEO of Next Gen Compounding Pharmacy, and Kristen Scott as well, who handles a lot of the sales to our industry. We want to give you an overview of Next Gen and what their compounding and research laboratory does. And then we want to make sure that you have all the information necessary so that you can place orders, get drugs or pharmaceuticals out to your ranch as soon as possible, and also understand that the pricing is some of the most competitive out there. So as many of you know, Next Gen is a new platinum sponsor of ours. We're excited to have them on board as a corporate partner at the Texas Deer Association. Some of our ranches who have already made the switch over to Next Gen have given some really great customer feedback and customer reviews on their service and their quick turnaround. So if you're looking for a new pharmaceutical company, please tune in right now and listen to the presentation. You can always ask questions if you are online. Please feel free to write any question that you may have concerning the company or their customer service. The other thing you can do is download a handout in your control panel, and that will be the PowerPoint presentation we'll go through. So before we start any of this, Mike and Kristen, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. It's Mike Russin. A little bit of background on the pharmacy. The pharmacy's been around since 2010. We purchased it back in May of last year, and pharmacy prior to us coming in focused mainly in the equine industry. And we've expanded into the small animal and also into the exotics market. And we've had some strong success since we came in. We're probably going at about a 30% rate right now, and are looking forward, obviously, to continue to grow that. We are recognized as a leader, obviously, today in the equine industry. And currently, the pharmacy is licensed in 31 different states. And what that basically means, because we always get the question, is each state has different rules and regulations that we have to abide by and meet in order to get licensed in them. And so today we have our sterile, non-sterile, and also controlled substance license in 31 different states. And again, the large and small animal combined there. As Patrick mentioned, we are a platinum sponsor and preferred pharmacy of the Texas Deer Association. And with that sponsorship, we're certainly committed to producing the highest quality products along with unparalleled customer service. And simply what that means is, pharmacy is a very highly regulated industry, and so we have to meet a lot of rules and regulations. And in the past, since we came in May, we've been inspected by 4 different organizations out there, 3 different organizations like the FDA, the Board of Pharmacy for Texas, and the Board of Pharmacy for Oklahoma, as well as we paid for NAPB to come in and inspect us and make sure that everything we're doing is, according to the rules and regulations. So, when people are asking, well, how do we know it's a good pharmacy? That right there kind of tells you that, because we wouldn't have passed all those if we were doing anything incorrectly. And from a customer service standpoint, what we're trying to accomplish, and we've gotten there in the 8 months we've been in, is that when orders come in, they either ship the same day or the next day to customers. So, obviously, ideally, we'd love customers to be able to plan a week or two ahead, but never really happens that way. So we've got our staff geared up so that when orders come in, everybody mobilizes and make sure they get out, like I said, either the same day or the next day, depending on what time they come in. Each product that's made, there's a process that goes through. We have compound records on file that, again, if regulators come in, they can be able to view and see how products are made. Each batch of product that comes out has to be a certain number of units, and each of those then is tested for potency. And there's 3 different tests that we do in-house in each batch, and then on a rotating basis, samples are sent out to a national laboratory to do analysis for potency and bacteria and so on and so forth in the different compounds. And so a lot goes behind product going from order to, going out the door. And like I said, we're currently licensed in 31 states and looking to grow that either through additional licensing by our pharmacists and or by acquiring additional pharmacies that might have licenses in different states. So from that standpoint, the staff that we have today, there's 2 pharmacists that combined have over 20 years of experience in compounding. And then according to regulations, each pharmacist can have basically 4 techs working underneath them. So there's 8 techs working at the pharmacy. And then you have Adam and Eric who man the phones and are very knowledgeable on all of our products and the vet space, so that when they call in an order, they take care of them there. So there's probably 14 people at the pharmacy that are there to take care of orders when they come in. Works very efficiently. In addition, in the state of Texas, we have a wholesale license. And I know in some cases that's not needed for customers, but for those who have to order from multiple sources to get product, we did that so they'd have kind of a one-stop shop for their vaccines, antibiotics, and other medical supplies that are kind of common.
So break that down for people, so that if you're not in the pharmacy world, you may not understand what is offered compounding and wholesale. Basically, your wholesale distributors, so you can actually distribute things like the vaccines and antibiotics that are labeled already, and you can distribute those to our farms directly.
Yes, basically the difference between a commercially available product and then a compound. So commercially available, legally we can't compound that and sell it. But what's nice about what we're doing is we have a set pricing model and structure that we put together that every product goes through that. And so we're not trying to look at a product and go, this particular one's so good we can charge more for it than our model. And so what we found is that typically customers we deal with can save anywhere from 20 to 30% on most of their medications that they use today.
I kind of want to make an emphasis on that. So most of your customers, I've heard this really good reviews about some of the ranches that have already seen you at our shows and have talked to you and have started to use you, and they always say, wow, I didn't know the prices could be that low and the service be that good. And what you're saying, Mike, is your general feedback is between 20 and 30% less than what most people normally do.
Yeah, and some are even more, because what will happen is, when too many fingers are in the pot, as they say, and too many middlemen are there, it gets marked up 300%, 400%, 500%, and so it creates an issue where customers seem to think that's the norm, and then we come in and give them our full price, and they, initially it's kind of interesting. They kind of step back and go, "Is there anything wrong with your product?" And considering that all of our chemicals when they come in have to be USP grade, and it's meaning the FDA has processes the factories have to go through, so it's the highest quality chemicals coming in, and like I said, every business needs to make money to stay in business, so we think we've priced everything fairly, and then we don't have to deal with this. Well, we'll discount it here, discount it there, because we're already at a price that's fair for everybody.
Great. I want to take just a real quick step back, Kristen. Introduce yourself, and then tell me what a customer would go through in order to get products on their door. Everything from the order to fulfillment.
Okay, so I'm Kristen Scott. A little bit of my background is I have a degree in reproduction. I came from the equine world. Horses are kind of what I do, and cattle. But with this job, when we started moving into the dairy part, broaden your horizons, but there are a lot of similarities in what I used to do. And then when I got brought on here, I'm the sales rep for the area, and my area consists of everybody. I don't really have a specific state or region, but when people get in touch with me to place an order, we always have to go through the legalities, obviously, that we're required to do. As far as vet scripts, everybody's going to have to fill out a vet patient confidentiality so that we know that the vet that's scripting for you is actually seeing your animal, and it's not just a person that you call and said, hey, script. Now, those aren't our rules, unfortunately. Those are just the rules that we have to play by. And just in the last probably 6 months, the government's really cracked down on them because there's been a lot of loopholes in that area. So we have to make sure that those bases are covered, and it's not just us, it's the vets that are covered and also the people that we ship the controlled substances to. So if you're pulled over and you have these controlled substances in your truck and you're just kind of traveling back and forth, that covers you from any legality that they can kind of cover. Scripts are on the bottle, they're scripts from licensed veterinarian, your licensed veterinarian. So once we get that, and that's kind of the main piece, once we get that form filled out, we can move on to, the ranch. And then what we have now been pushed to do is we need to know the animals that will be treated with a specific bottle. Now that sounds like a headache, but really once we get the initial, we always say PIN numbers or ear tag numbers, it's really easy. We can just email it over, we put it in the system. So the next time you call and everything's in place, you can say, hey, I need an MK kit or I need a certain controlled substance. It will be used on my active herd. So I can go in the computer, pull up the active herd, whether that's 5 or whether that's 105. They're in the computer, they're ready to go. I can put on the patient script. This is for their active herd, and that covers that herd of deer that you have. Now, like I said, once I have it, we're getting that once a year information, and then if your active herd changes, go from 105 to 95 or 75, again, we'll have to revamp it and go again next year. It is a little bit of a headache at first, but once we have it, you're covered. Your bases are covered as far as that. The FDA just wants to know, as they say, the lot numbers, but it's always easy for them to say, oh, we need specific animals, where we know in reality, if your one deer gets one shot, it's kind of covered under the umbrella of PIN 4 or ear tag orange or things of that nature, because it's very easy for them to say in their cushy office, we need to know which deer is being used on, where in reality it doesn't work that way. We try to make it as easy as we can for the people who order. That we just need lot numbers, ear tag numbers, however you kind of organize your pins.
Sure. I think, interestingly enough, our industry is kind of going through this with the veterinary feed directive and other different controlled substance laws that have been passed recently through the FDA.
Right.
It's good to know that y'all are helping our customers out, because that's murky water that all of our members wade into, because controlled substance laws are getting stricter and stricter every year. And so it's nice to have y'all as a customer service venue to help out with that, so that in case something were to happen on a ranch, you would have the records as well as the ranch. And so that's a really useful tip for our membership to know, is that y'all warehouse the records as well, just in case, God forbid, something was to happen on the ranch. Good. Let's talk a little bit about product availability. I get asked consistently kind of what products do they have, and how fast can they turn them around, things like that. Can y'all go through that?
Your basic orders that we get from a lot of our deer breeders, exotic breeders, are MK kits, of course, the Matomi kits. They're 30 mil kits or 10 mil kits, just kind of depends on what you want to do. And again, the fact that we're a patient-specific pharmacy, and I always push that, because a lot of pharmacies in the industry are very, what I call cookie cutter. It's this kit, this is what you get, this is all we have. I've worked with several ranches that have called and said, okay, this is what we have, this is what we need. And my first initial email with you is, I always have a ton of questions. When is your busy season? What do you guys normally do? I mean, there's different animals, and everything varies in that area. So we're going to kind of set up as a forecast on what we're going to need to stockpile, keep it around so that no one's having to wait a specific amount of time. And you call, you get your order placed, and hopefully it goes out. So with the MK kit, we've been working on the patient-specific part, working with one ranch that needed darts that could get a stronger dose. They were trying to shoot them with, bigger darts. I think they said 3 cc, and they couldn't really get the range but they were wanting another 3 cc dart. So they call me and they say, is there any way, that, we can get, a dose that's stronger in a 1 and a 1.5 cc dart. So we sit down with our chief pharmacist, come up with something, get it tested, get it approved before we ship it out. And then that's the kind of what we offer as a patient with things like our MK kit.
That's wonderful to know that you do a customized service for each individual ranch that comes in.
That's why I always push patient specific. You kind of need to, like I said, it's very easy to just call and say, hey, I need an intake kit. And then when you get it, it's like, oh, this wasn't really working the way I wanted it or the way I thought it was going to work. So like I said, the initial process is, a little bit longer than just picking up the phone and ordering a kit. But in the end, I feel like it maybe works a little bit better being able to talk to the ranches, the ranch managers, the pen managers, knowing what they need, what they're trying to go for, and the end result kind of makes it a little bit better. Those are some of the compounds as far as controlled substances. Our kits are shipped with the reversal as well, with either the 10 mg or the 30 ml. Some of the over-the-counter stuff, we carry the typical xylazine, things of that nature. We always get our dear guys that come in and ask about Draxxin, dexamethasone. We have both dexamethasone, 2 mg, 4 mg, and when you call either myself, Adam, or Eric, and just kind of specify which dexamethasone you're wanting and kind of what you're wanting to do with it, again, patient specific. What are you wanting to do with it? What's the end result you're trying to achieve? What are you doctoring for? Both the guys in the front are very, very, very knowledgeable on animal drugs, antibiotics, things of that nature. Luckily for us, we've put together a team that's very knowledgeable in that area. It may not be the specific to your industry, but we're also, try to keep up with what we're doing and what we're selling as far as things like that to know what we're trying to doctor. Things like, upper respiratory. Well, we've been sent this, but if we look it up, we can do this and this, and then upper respiratory, and this works out long term, a little bit better in price. Like I said, we have a very good team set between myself, Adam, and Eric that we can kind of get it all worked out with, and then sit down with the pharmacist and find out what we're trying to do.
So every time we talk about scripts or especially the controlled substances, our anesthetics, things like that, we always get this question, and Justin, thanks for writing it in, and that is, do we have to have a veterinarian script from their personal vet, or does NextGen write the script?
No, we don't write scripts.
We just have to clarify. I want to be very clear about that.
It's just better if we can get the script from the vet who knows your herd and knows, your area and what they're doing. We do have some ranches that have vets that do write their scripts for them, and that's the vet's responsibility to be able to step out there and write scripts for the vet. Because a lot of times, vets don't sit out at these specific ranches all day and work with, every day, and we know that those vets will sign for those ranches.
Sure.
For those scripts.
We, I can hear one of our founding members, one of our long-term members, Dr. Scott Bugai, saying it is always important to have a veterinary-client relationship. So, for those of you out there that are having the same question, it is very important for you and your vet to have a personal veterinary-client relationship that's more extensive than you picking up the phone and calling.
From a regulatory standpoint, if it's fine to not do it until the regulators come in, and then they audit something and they find out there's no trail, why the medication went from point A to point B, and then that's when everybody gets in trouble.
Yeah, but what I like about your pharmacy is you're warehousing that information for the ranch. Sometimes things happen at our ranches whether it's natural disaster or flooding or anything, that where paperwork just seemingly gets misplaced.
Right.
And it's nice to know that should a regulatory action happen,
Yeah.
NextGen standing behind our customers saying, look, we can provide you your veterinary scripts that you sent us. We warehouse information. So that's good. I don't mean to get us off on topic, but on a different topic, but let's talk a little bit about, you have a list of your wholesale products, Banamine, long range, penicillin. There's quite a few on there. What's needed to order those products?
What's needed to order the wholesale or the over-the-counter?
Yep.
That is just them calling and ordering.
Okay.
Those are commercially available, so there's no script required for those. And those are the easy ones, I should say. To call and say, hey, I need this, this, and this.
so if I'm a customer, I simply call NextGen and talk to either you or Adam or Eric and say, listen, my herd consists of this many animals. This is kind of my long-term plan this year for animal movement and care. And then you can outfit them with both compounded pharmaceuticals and all of their Draxxin, Exceed, et cetera, and all their other notes. Good. Let's talk a little bit, just for a second about a lot of our ranches have white-tailed deer. All of them have white-tailed deer, but many of them are starting to get into the exotic market. Y'all are also doing compounding for exotics, correct? Can you talk a little bit about that, and also your traditional agriculture, cattle, horses, et cetera. Many of our ranches also have some sort of agricultural commodity on it as well, another different agricultural. Y'all service the full gambit of animal husbandry, everything from exotics to deer to cattle, horses, et cetera. Perfect.
Vaccinations, we carry several different compounded wormers. I mean, the list goes on. That there's about 700 compounds and growing because we are developing new ones every day, really.
Okay. Y'all, what else that you commonly get asked could we share for folks? I know one, and I don't know how you're going to answer, but I have to ask it, and that is, I constantly get asked, can you give me a price sheet? Can y'all give me a price sheet? And I always tell folks, no, but it's very simple to get it if you call it there. Can you just talk through that and explain why, it's not, we can't go post your price and it's online?
Yeah, again, from a regulatory standpoint, you can't advertise prices, I guess is the way to say it. And so what we typically like to do is, again, we're happy to do it if, ranch calls in and says, here's my top 5 or 10 products, because it's kind of the 80-20 rule, spend 80% of your money on 20% of your pharmaceuticals, but, and then we're happy to, give them prices. So it's like on the MK kits, we find that, people are right now paying, I think we found anywhere from $450 to $550, kit, and our standard pricing on that is $350. Right? So just give you an idea, and that's something that everybody's familiar with, everybody uses. So, and then on the wholesale products, we have a set 20% markup on those products, where we find, some farms paying 200, 300, 400% markups, on those. And again, could we make more on them? Sure, but we want to, again, have a pricing model that we put together that, the customers we deal with know what it is, and it's fair, for everybody. We can make money, customers save money, and, they can then, have a one-stop shop to get all their products from.
Great. I want to reiterate just something just real quick, and that is, you're not only in Texas, you're in 31 different states. We were talking earlier about, you're in almost, if not every major deer farming, elk farming, animal husbandry state that we would consider in our membership with service. You're in almost every one of those states. How does somebody that's out of state who's listening to this in Ohio or Oklahoma, can you ship across state lines? I'm assuming when you talked earlier about all the regulatory documentation, you can do the same thing. Those vets can call up and give you a script, and you can ship to ranches in those 31 other states.
When we say we're licensed in the 31 states, what that basically means, from whatever state standpoint, that we have the right to ship a product, a compounded product, into those states. And then we're currently starting to add other states for our wholesale license also. So we just added a second one recently. It was Utah.
Yeah, we added Wyoming.
Wyoming.
So, Wyoming.
Yeah, so now we can, and so we're dealing with a customer and they have enough wholesale products that they buy, and our model fits for them, and they want us to do that. It's a short process to go through for us to, again, pay the fees, make sure we pass regulatory, and then we're licensed in that state for wholesale. And then we're obviously continuing to add additional states on our compounds also that we can ship to.
Okay. What else?
And I just kind of touch a little bit on what Mike was talking about with our price model and kind of what we go through when you medications that you order most often or, you know, you use. The reason that we do that, and I probably will ask you, nature of how much you pay for it, it's not for our benefit to know what you pay for it, but like we said, we just have a straight across-the-board pricing model. So when we ask you things of that nature, it's not to figure out how much more money we can make, or you know, oh, we only have to drop it $5. We just ask that just forecasting, kind of knowing where we are, because we're not going to make any more money on our set, and that's not just for the deer industry. That's for horses, cattle, all of that. I mean, prices are set as what they are, and there's no juggling. You won't have you know, you won't talk to somebody down the road that says, well, I got mine for, you know, $3.15 and you pay for it. They're all the same for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's really important to mention because trust and trust is a big deal in this industry, especially when corporations. And the other thing is customer service. And I can tell you from folks that I've talked to that have made the switch over, it's been nothing but positive. So I think y'all are on a really good track here with our industry.
Yeah, I think some of the early, ranches we've worked with, some of the things are, that the people they have access to our pharmacists, which is kind of odd too with a lot of pharmacies, so they can call and talk to our pharmacists directly. We'd like to have that interaction between our pharmacists so that if they want something new, which we've had a couple ranches we're already developing things for, they have that opportunity to do that. And then I know there's some drugs that are shipped into the U.S. from a foreign country that technically is not supposed to be occurring, but we're, again, working with a couple of ranches to develop a compound that's available here in the U.S. so then they can feel comfortable when they buy it. They're not going to have the regulators knocking at their door to find out why they're having something shipped in from another country to use.
Right.
So again, that's something that's kind of unique, I think, to us also, is that we have that kind of any customer that calls in, they have access to our entire team to work with them on, or get something accomplished. So.
Okay. Kristen, anything else that you want to share?
Like I said, I mean, everybody looks at, yes, I work for Next Gen, but as a sales rep, I always try to push that I'm your sales rep. It's not just, you don't call me with just the good stuff. If there's, unfortunately, we don't want anything like that to happen, if you have a question or concern, we definitely want to be the people who call and let us know what's going on, because at the end of the day, we do work for you and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish.
Good. Y'all, I think that's it. We've run through. We actually ran through all of the presentation as well. What we're going to do is, if you have any questions that you want to email us, please feel free to email them to info@texasdeerassociation.com. Additionally, we will post this webinar and the PowerPoint presentation for everyone to see, and we'll publish it in both an email and we'll publish it online on Facebook. So if you would like to go to our social media channels or you would like to reach out to us directly, we can get anything answered that you would like. Additionally, I know that the Next Gen staff is here to help. So if you want to call them directly, their phone number is 817-599-7781. That phone number again is 817-599-7781. Feel free to call them. As you heard here today, their company model is customer service, so you're going to hear a friendly voice on the end of the line when you call up there to service all of your pharmaceutical needs. With that, we'll go ahead and sign off. We appreciate everybody's time, and again, we look forward to you contacting Next Gen at your earliest convenience. Thanks.